getting dressed up in shades of yellow.
Hello, welcome to the Lovely Job podcast, taking you behind the scenes of bridal with Miss Bush. I'm Leah Spicer-Pownall, and this is...
I'm Emma Marshall. Morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good. Very good, actually. Yeah, like I've been trying to have like a week of like relative balance and sort of like health and fitness. It's been quite good, actually. Yeah.
Sounds lovely.
I know, right? I'm definitely all or one thing. Do you know what I mean? I can't do balance the whole time, but I'm trying. Well, actually, just giving you the actual tea here. Obviously, it's only about a month to go until I'm really looking forward to going to Venice for Chloe's wedding. And I could just do with trying to get like a couple of pounds off my boobs, basically. So the kind of wardrobe that I'm thinking of looks better. So I'm going to try and lose about like £5 before I go, hoping that might have an effect. So yeah.
Have you bought anything yet?
No, but I think I've got loads of stuff. I was thinking I might wear the same dress that I wore to the Lovely Job Live thing, actually, with the
nice.
Prada shoes.
Good.
Assuming that I'm going to be sitting down for most of the wedding, because as we know, I can't walk in those shoes for more than about 5 minutes. So, but yeah, so I think that's possibly what I'd got in my head to wear. I don't think, because I was actually thinking what I needed, like, because we're going to be doing some sightseeing there as well, and I feel like I don't need that many I think they might be having a sort of like reception, like a rehearsal dinner thing the night before, so I might need a couple of like flash outfits. But the rest of it, I would say, would be quite sightseeing-y. Maybe.
That sounds good.
Yes, I've just booked horrific flight times as well, like flights at sort of like silly o'clock in the morning that get us to Venice at like 9 in the morning. It's like a 2-hour flight, and then like leaving on Monday night late that gets us back about nearly midnight into the UK. But I just kind of think, we're only going for 4 days. I wanted, like, we've got sort of quite 2 days of wedding, so I'd quite like to do a bit of 2 days of sightseeing as well. So
yeah, spend as much time there as you can. Amazing. Very exciting.
Yeah. I know. I keep thinking about the content we've got to create for it as well. So
I know.
There, and I've also I'm going to have to be uploading things to a Dropbox. But I think Chloe's got an incredible like photographer, like a very sort of fashion editorial photographer. So
she has. I don't think you need to worry too much. I think we'll have lots from it. But are you dressing Chloe in the morning?
I think so. I'm not quite sure. Yeah,
because I think that's what we could do with a few little clips of someone getting some video clips of you buttoning her in or zipping. I don't know what she's got, but
yeah, sticking on the nipple tassels, that kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that would be lovely to have, just of you getting her dressed.
Did you see the part 2 of Charlie XCX's wedding in Italy?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
She's got like a very see-through white thing on, and she's sitting at a table in it with like big Aperol spritzers and a cigarette.
Nice.
And she's literally got what I would say, like back in my day, she's got the white stilettos that we would suggest would have been worn by someone called Tracy, who was a hairdresser from London.
Yep.
So I feel like she's really rocking that kind of like, it's a very interesting 80s, 90s mashup of see-through dress and white stilettos. So I preferred it to the London one.
Yeah. The kind of like neckline of the dress has got like kind of straps and things across it.
Yeah, she does. I feel like I quite like it because I don't think she looks very tidy.
No.
So, that I think I quite like that sort of like, oh, fuck it, that'll do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, right. We've got a couple of things we want to talk about today, haven't we? We want to talk about going viral, and we also want to talk about an article that you've written. You wrote a blog post.
I know.
What year is this?
I know, and I really, that is a muscle, definitely the writing muscle, and mine is very atrophied, I have to say. It took me a while to like do a sort of completely like try and organise my thoughts. I had to like put subject headings and things and try and like organize my thoughts, which was very tedious. So normally when I used to write blog posts before, I just used to wake up cross, didn't I? And then do one of those kind of like
Yeah, you
angry,
did.
like takedowns of something. So
I'd get
I've
one at like
become
8 in the
far
morning that you'd just like written
yeah.
after raging all night.
Yeah, I know. Well, now I understand it. That I was probably perimenopausal. Do you know what I mean? So, like, that's probably not a great time for someone to be introduced to a brand new phenomenon like Twitter or blogging or anything like that. So, I probably all my rage and anxiety was channeled into making enemies on the internet. So, not so amazing really, but anyway, well, maybe somehow slightly notorious. So, but yeah, so this one was like definitely supposed to be factual. But should we start on the weirdness of digital marketing first, while we're talking about the weirdness of the digosphere?
Yes. Yeah. So last week we briefly touched on about how we had a reel go viral on Instagram. So it's a reel that Ben did, and we did one dress with 4 different petticoats to show how each petticoat can change the look of the dress, which you thought was an incredibly boring topic.
Shows what I know.
Yeah, because brides don't know about these things because they've never even tried on a petticoat before, probably. So this was a topic that it did really well. And so this post, it's had now 85,000 views, and we've had 1,200 new followers from it. But what we've discovered is that to have a post go viral doesn't actually translate into bookings, does it?
Not at all.
No.
Not even remotely. Do you know what I mean? And people have been asking where they can buy these petticoats, and they're global people. So we don't have well, I suppose if I actually thought about it, I should really set up the wherewithal to like trade internationally. Oh my God, like tariffs, borders, exports, I don't think I want to do that. Do you know what I mean? So
No.
as much as we can do is point people in the direction of the petticoats suppliers.
That's all we can do. So if I looked at the audience, only 20% of people that viewed it were based in the United Kingdom. And 13% were in the United States, and the rest were like all scattered all over the place, like Nigeria, India, Australia. So it's gone very global. And I think what we can learn from this is that going viral is not always the key kind of ambition, because you're not actually going to get bookings from it.
I mean, I would say we've had an extremely quiet week of inquiries.
And
I guess possibly because every time that someone goes onto Instagram, maybe it's because they're showing them one dress that they don't like the look of. Do you know what I mean? That's coming up first, you know, which is one 150th of the options that you've got to try on at the chapel. So, and also I've had a couple of people fly in from the States to get dresses. She reminds me I should follow up on one of them who did fly in specifically. But yeah, I mean, that isn't something, you know, that's not, we're not a global player like that. We don't market ourselves as a kind of, you know, like maybe a central London shop would have a lot of overseas clients. You know, we still on the whole sell to people that are UK based and mostly London southeast based. So yeah, it's kind of, isn't it? And you kind of like, I think we've been really excited about getting to like 20,000 followers.
Yeah, the only reason I've ever wanted that is because I just think it looks nice on the front page of our Instagram. Just a nice round number. Like, we've just been hovering at like 19.5 for ages now. But I just think like chasing big numbers is just not the way to go, because the bigger it gets, the more filtered out it gets, and the less you're going to get your actual niche target audience. So like a few months ago, I was seeing a few other bridal shops getting reels go viral, and they were having like 100,000 views. But now that it's happened to us, I can just see that they probably didn't get anything from it either, other than views from people over the globe. Like, they're not actually going to have like got anything from that. It's just that it looks good.
And I would say narratively as well. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I would say that when people come into like the bush, into the chapel, it's rare that the sales funnel is purely digital. They will have maybe been recommended by 2 or 3 quite disparate people. They may have then checked our Instagram or checked our website, but it isn't a solely digital process.
No, it's reinforced in lots of different areas, isn't it?
Yeah.
But just to compare, so your adding tops to a strapless dress post that came out last week showing off the new Hazy's Pero, that's had 10,000 views. But if you look at the audience, 65% of them are in the United Kingdom. So it's a lot higher number. They're going to be people that actually possibly will come to Miss Bush or know somebody that will. I think the smaller the number is, the more kind of targeted it is to your own audience. It's good because it just kind of like reinforces that we don't need giant numbers out.
No, I mean there is that, but I mean that's always been our like sort of point of view, really, isn't it? About how we are, the language we use and everything is we're only trying to talk to the sort of 300 brides a year that we would like. Yeah, which probably means we have to have 600 brides come through our door to get 300 brides. Do you know? And that whole 50% conversion rate, which is not brilliant, but it's very typical across the industry. But I do think at the moment, though, I feel that it feels more like people are going to a million places at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. But I also think as well, like I saw a post a while ago that was, if you're feeling sad that you're not going viral and getting hundreds of thousands of views, if you only get 4,000, if you just think, if you were in a room talking to 4,000 people, that's a lot of people, isn't it? And so like, if there's 4,000 people seeing your post, that's still a lot of people that have seen it. And if they're all 4,000 people that would be interested rather than 100,000 people, those 4,000 people in there are going to get lost. So that's kind of the point of this, to just focus on also, smaller, better.
Yeah, and if we were just an influencer, we'd need to be generating that to be able to charge rates for our advocacy.
Yeah.
And we're not. So bizarrely, the other thing that I find really kind of annoying about it, it's great. Ben's brilliant, and he's also great on camera, and the information is sound. But I just feel again a bit like back in the day. We're sharing everything with the internet, and therefore I suppose AI, and therefore I suppose everything, and big companies that are conspiring to be horrible to us for nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
Why did we do that then? Do you know what I mean? And it's important. It's important that like our clients that know us know that we have got, like technical expertise, and we've got concepts and ideas, and it's great for them to know that. But you do just feel like there is more of me, God, or not me, Ben, on this case, but or me on the top. So there's just more of my information that's just been given away to like Meta.
Yeah. It is true. But then, like, it is just for that select number of people. If they see it, that's all that matters. Everyone else can just... doesn't matter. But it has also attracted the American Karens again. Like, as soon as we start getting things seen in America, we start getting nasty comments. Like, it's just the way it is. Like, it's...
So I did, like, reply to one when they were, like, going that she needs to cheer up. And I was like, no, she's probably bored.
Yeah, she's been standing there for 20 minutes in a dress. Like, what's she expected to do? Just sit there grinning.
It's like, it's like I could have done it on a mannequin, like a tailor's dummy, but it's better on a person. But that sort of moody, brooding gorgeousness, which works well in the photo, does look a bit slapped arse on video, I have to say. But she's still lovely.
Yeah, I just don't know what they're expecting her to do that the whole time. Like, she's just standing there. Like,
I don't know.
No, but yeah, I think it's good. So if any other businesses are listening and they're feeling a bit sad that they're only getting like 2,000 views or something on a video, then don't worry about it.
I'd say if they were filling their appointments and they're getting better than 50% conversion, they should be slapping themselves on the back quite heartily, because at the moment I feel like September looks diabolical and looks like you've got tumbleweed rolling through town. But then we did have an extremely busy August, so you do tend to find if you funnel all your clients into a specific month with a specific proposition, then you do then the net loss on that is a quieter follow-up month. So yeah, so it isn't. Yeah. Anyway, I'll be nice, but I'll be able to dust my skirting boards at home. It'll be fine. And everyone's on holiday as well, so it is about time. Like, I think all the seamstresses are away this month. Corin's away this week, so I do think you'll find after like a busy season, people are just ready to like not work.
Yeah, and everybody's like busy in September. Kids are going back to school as well, and I think, and even if you don't have kids, you still have that kind of like back to school feeling.
Yeah, and also it's quite interesting. There's a number of people that I've spoken to all about to start new jobs, because obviously like new hires don't tend to happen in August. So there's quite a lot of people that either bought in August because they were starting a new job in September, or do you know what I mean? So it's quite a lot of that going on as well. I think like the whole country really shuts down pretty much in August,
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
it?
quite a
So,
transitional month, isn't it? Like as
yeah.
well, you know, you feel like autumn's coming and it's just all change.
Indeed. Indeed. So, talking about how we supply information to the internet, then, shall we talk about something else that I just did for nothing, for no one?
Yes.
I just wrote some other stuff for the internet. I
For
guess at least
free.
if you put it on WordPress or on Riverside or something, that's not actually owned by Meta, or
No,
are
that's
they?
true. No, WordPress are they're not, it's fine.
Okay, so I basically saw something on Tinternet. I saw something on Instagram. There's a big brand that were offering customization. And I was like, oh, whatevs, we can do that. And I was like, okay, but have you actually really spelt out how you can customize things for people? And I was like, not for, well, not. And as you're saying, not for a while. No, I haven't. I haven't written anything meaningful for a while, like a blog post. So basically, I set myself a little challenge after my accountant's meeting last week. So it was a working day and I was home by the middle of the day, and I was like, well, actually just do this writing that Leah's asked. And it took me all afternoon to write something really basic. So I'm definitely going to implore people to go um, and read it, because it's quite interesting. Years ago, I did write an article in a fit of rage about why we tell people to not take photos in a wedding dress appointment. That was about 10 years ago or something. And that went viral. That got 20,000 reads on the first day it went out, and was kind of adopted almost as a set text for like bridal shop training, for which, again, loads of people acknowledged that I wrote it, but, you know, it didn't make me any money at all. So I suppose, yeah, thought leadership is quite good. So as a, as a kind of, it's not really an end business aim though, is it? I suppose, is it? Oh, I don't know. We have clever clients. Maybe they're attracted to our thought leadership. But anyway, so I wanted to really talk about customization, because it is something of a bit of a, like, I don't know what you'd call it, whether it's an addiction of mine, that I always want to put people in something slightly different, even if it's only a tiny thing, if it changes by a button, or, you do a tiny amend on something, because I really, really love that all of our clients have always known that their dresses are made individually by someone, knowing who the end user is. So when we put an order through to any of our suppliers, that order also has the client's name. So whoever's making it knows that they're making it for, let's say, Leah Spicer-Pownall.
Oh,
Like, they
yay.
know who that dress is going to. They have a sense of who that person is because it has a name. We don't give like our orders like purchase order numbers, and we don't actually just batch order. We don't order 10 size 12s and then allocate them on arrival. Every company that we work with cuts and makes each dress individually, knowing who they're for, which I think is really lovely. So that people, so the seamstresses, the people that are in the design teams, really get a sense of connecting with who they're actually making a garment for, which I think is really, really nice. So we've done quite a lot of things, a bit like Ben's video of the petticoats, where we've shown how we style things, and I think we've given a bit of a glimpse inside, say, Jesus Paro's production. But the concept of customization, I just don't think we've really truly explained in a really contemporary way. So and it can be very, very simple customizations, or it can be quite extreme. So I did think it would just be useful on the podcast just to run through exactly what I mean. And if you don't know anything, Leah, because there is times where you might know what we could do, just like stop me and say, because it is quite tricky, because styling, i.e. putting a scarf or a coat over the top of something, or a jacket or a lace top or a veil, is very different from actually customizing the actual. That's customizing your look, but not really customizing the dress. So I feel like I think we should basically discuss a little bit of what that looks like, and why it's also mixed up with our ethics as well. So Provenance is the first thing I put in this. And provenance is, I don't know, I just feel there's been such a rollback on anything ethical recently, and I just think that's really bad. But if you were going to buy meat or vegetables or anything that you consider to be important and where there's ethics to be applied, provenance is one of those things, like who made it, where does it come from, what is the sourcing of this product. And I think restaurants make a big deal about it, like the pig chain of restaurants will only have stuff that's sourced with a certain number of miles of their kind of restaurants and things. So with the provenance, for me, I have moved towards this. This isn't always the way it has been, but we now only work with brands that are in control of their own production with their own teams in the country that they're based in. So a Suzanne Neville dress is made by her team in Harrow on the Hill in London. A Nautier dress is made in Basingstoke. A Jesus Pero dress is either made in Barcelona or Galicia, and a Divine Atelier dress is made in Romania. They've got two sites. They've got Bucharest and Brasov is where their production is. And that's the kind of thing which seems really weird, because you get, and I'm just going to be a bit shady, a bunch of Australian labels that kind of lead you to believe that their stuff is made on the Gold Coast, or it's somehow kind of hippie or ethical or something. And it's bloody not. It's made in giant factories in various locations in Asia. So you're not quite buying the provenance that you're being sold. It's really interesting as well with the Spanish design. Jesus Pero are the only bridal suppliers in the whole of Spain that have actually have been acknowledged as everything being made in Spain. And so their made in Spain accreditation is not just something they slap on something, that's something that the Spanish government's had to give them. And it's a bit like being a B Corp company. It isn't just about that it's made there. Government inspectors come and see your entire processes. So that ethics of where we source things is always really been important to me. Now, what the hell's fucking Emma is that got to do with customization? Right. The point being is, if you're having your dress made one at a time with your name attached to the order in the country that it comes from by the team that designed it, they can make changes because they're not cutting 10,000 of the same dress in the same size at one time. They are not so highly mechanized that they can't flex their production. So the provenance is very much linked up with the fact that you can make design changes, whether they are just minor design changes or big design changes, because these people are in charge of their production. And so the provenance is also very strongly linked with design, which I think is really interesting for brides, because I do think brides are interested in the ethics, and more so recently. I think there was a little bit of lip service to it, like maybe 10 years ago, but then now I think people are very keen on that. And also the other thing, I don't want to get into the current discussions of flag waving and stuff like that, but one of the things that we all acknowledge that we need to do economically for the UK is grow the economy. And one of the ways of growing the economy in the UK is investing and spending your money in UK manufacture. I would say that would be a better use of your time than wandering around putting up a George Cross up a ladder onto a flagpole. Do you know what I mean? Actually looking and investing and becoming involved in UK production will keep revenue within the UK. And that's, that is something we need to do as a country, is we need to redress the lack of manufacturing in this country. And I don't want to, people might be like, oh, actually, my dress isn't manufactured. It's made by small magical creatures in a dell somewhere in a magical forest. It isn't. They're all made on sewing machines. But it would be good if your sewing machine was based somewhere where someone's being paid a fair wage and that manufacturing, UK manufacturing is grown. So that would be my little political thing about it. So basically single cut means you're not mechanizing the process. So some big companies will outsource their production, and it's very efficient. You can outsource to big factories. I know that the factories in China that have made Pronovius dresses are able to make 10,000 dresses a week. And I know that like a good European label or a British label, designer label will maybe only make 5,000 dresses a year. So you're looking at the global powerhouses that can pump out things versus companies that will cut each dress one at a time and be able to make those changes for you. So single cut dresses that's the important thing to know. And also the other thing about single cut dresses is you don't have to wait for a big factory to get round to be doing a batch of the one that you want. So this is why, again, single cut means you can have much more responsive time frames. So it can be custom and responsive and ethical. I don't understand why that shouldn't be just thoroughly embraced by everybody. So the design changes, obviously, let me just wander through some design changes as well for you. Things that I've done. These are things that I've done, and this is not limited to what you can do, but this is what I've actually done on quite a lot of the orders I've done in the last few weeks. And it's a bit of a bullet point list. If you want to go read it properly, go to the website. Leah will link it in the text to this, but you can add and take away sleeves, you can change sleeve designs, you can change fabrics, you can change necklines, you can change the volume of your skirt, you can add and subtract petticoats and linings, you can change zips and lace ups to buttons or vice versa. You can add more corsetry or more boning and things, or take it away, and you can incorporate something that's personal or sentimental to you, and you can change the colour. I mean, that's not even as much as you can do, but that's what I've done in the last couple of weeks of client orders. So I think, again, I've put on the article that like sometimes people might not even notice it. Like we try to honour the designer's original intention. So if you are buying a Jesus Pero dress, even if we tweak it or do a custom design, it's still going to have a strong Jesus Pero identity, the same as Suzanne Neville. Suzanne Neville's dresses are sculpted and like they have got her own signature cut. You can't get a leopard to change their spots too easily design wise. Do you know what I mean? I can't imagine Suzanne ever doing something avant-garde and weird, because it's just not in her to do. So it would be a hard job for me to try and get something like that created by her as a one-off for a client. And also there's other things that you can do that I've also quoted for this week. Some of these haven't come on through, but things where we're basically making dresses into separates, which is quite an interesting way, again, of getting that kind of usability out of dresses. And the other thing, which is very unique to Miss Bush, is the fact that you can say, like, have a dress from Suzanne Neville and an overtop from Jesus Pero. So we're looking at that custom blend. So you're not having to look like you've come straight out of a catalogue from one designer. So I think that is a really good thing to do. And it goes without saying that like customization means that you can be size inclusive. None of the designers we work with have a minimum size or a maximum size. So they don't start at 8 and finish at an 18, which quite a lot of people do. You can be any size you like, and all of them have got the technology, the ability, craftsmanship in their studios to be able to make whatever size you want. This doesn't mean that you can try on whatever size you want initially, but that's a completely different podcast, a completely different article. But you should be able to have anything you like. There is no impediment to you having anything you want, but you have to understand the process of custom made dresses as opposed to made to order. It's very different. Risk-free. Why did I write risk-free? Oh yeah, like sometimes people are like a bit worried about whether they're going to like it. Honestly, to be quite honest, I think by the time most people order any wedding dress and they get to try it on for the first time, and everyone's worked themselves up into an utter frenzy of whether they're not going to like it or not. So this isn't specifically kind of like left to custom to be like, this isn't that thing. Everyone's like, oh, when I see it again, will I like it as much as when I chose it? It's like generally the answer is yes. There's very rare that is a no. But so basically risk-free. So what does risk-free mean? If you're making a custom dress, what could possibly go wrong is you don't like it. I mean, I will stop people making a dog's dinner dress. I have stopped it loads of times. And I'm like, you can't have everything you like on one dress. It just won't work. And you also can't try and get one designer to make a dress that looked like somebody else's. Although many London dressmakers do that, which makes me really angry the whole time. It's like, that's a great Jesus Perret dress you've made for that person. It's just not their label. Anyway, so basically they you don't have to kind of like worry too much about this. I will kind of be there, much like a sort of kitchen showroom designer. So I'm there to interface between the client to help them develop their brief and to be able to effectively brief that in technical terms into whichever company we're using. So we will get it right, and it isn't an unknown quantity. This is a path we've gone down loads of times with each one of our brands. If you're going to have something really radically different, then I would suggest an intermediate fitting first, and that is definitely something that all of these brands offer, and that can check both size and design. So yeah, I think that's why I feel like I really needed to kind of write it down. This is written down, bullet points, quite sensibly laid out on a blog post, which is very bloody unusual for me to do. This is also why we can't quite often put prices on our website, because it can vary quite a lot between, you can make a custom Jesus Perret dress and it actually might not be any more money than a standard Suzanne Neville. You could do a completely custom Suzanne Neville dress that nobody would else have in the entire world, and it still would be less than, say, like £10,000, which would still be a starting price for one of the like uber luxury brands off the peg standard size. So there's a big sliding scale on this, but I would say that you can get custom very easily within the £2,000 to £4,000 price bracket. And that should generally include made to measure as well. And depending on how lavish the fabrics go, that could then quite easily go to £4,000 to £8,000. But it isn't as expensive as you might think. And I think it's important to look at that provenance and just think, even if you just need to do a tiny tweak, even if it's been your heart's desire to have, a bow on the back of the dress or some buttons, or you just want to change a cuff to a something else or a tiny detail, it still means that it's absolutely been made for you, which I just think is really, really nice. But also there's quite a lot of politics involved in that, but I think this is why I like being able to change some things I can change. It's a bit like the alcoholic's prayer, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That sort of like, grant me the wisdom to know the difference. I know the things that I can change in the wedding industry, and for my shop, that is definitely size inclusivity and customization and the ethics of the supply chain. So those are all very important to me.
Amazing. Yeah, I think it's when I blog the brides, I don't think I ever blog any that just buy the dress exactly how it is. Like, they've always got something that's slightly different, and I love that, because it's they don't look the same as the last bride that wore it. It's always just a little bit different.
I know. I literally did come up with a slogan, didn't I? Minor changes, major happiness.
Yes. Yeah. I put that in italic because I was like, that's nice.
Minor change, major happy. Do you know, I just don't think you should have to compromise. And if it doesn't cost hardly any more money to have exactly what you want, why would you compromise? So I think it's like that's what
it's
I like.
When you sometimes you're like, oh well, I looked at our dresses on the website and it doesn't look like we have that many. But then if you think you could take one top from one, or one dress skirt from another, and then like a coat from another, sleeves from another, like that's endless, really.
Isn't
so
it?
It's just so much choice.
And also you could just like multiply the number of tops you can count by the number of bottoms.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've also got to multiply the number of fabrics that you could have in there.
Yep.
With the plus or minus sleeves, or plus or minus another top to go over it.
Adding a bow, removing an embellishment, anything. It's just so much. And
it's like, but the thing is, if you were just faced with, if I put on the website, you can have anything you want, firstly, people would be overwhelmed and couldn't cope. And secondly, you would have people designing things that were just butt ugly. So you do need to have like a core shape and structure. And I actually had somebody in on Saturday she'd been to see a couple of dressmakers, and I'm like, sometimes dressmakers can be a bit like florists. They will simply do what you ask. And I'm not saying that doing what you ask should be the sort of customer's always right, but I think it's really good to know what core pattern cutting that you're working with, whether that designer's cut innately, inherently suits you, then customization feels a lot safer.
Yeah.
Also, if there wasn't that total dog's dinner, like a literal dog's dinner made, it's not the end of the world. It is also cloth. It's not granite. It's not like you've got to go and get another piece of granite out of the earth somewhere. You can actually slightly reshape skirts. You could, if you're like, that didn't work, did it? Just get another skirt on it. Yeah. Do you know, it's like, I know that sounds like quite casual, but at the one point, you can be very sentimental about the wedding dresses and their choosing, but at the same time, it's a design project.
Yeah. I think that's the good thing about doing it with Miss Bush as well, because you've got all the production in-house. So, and it is a small team. So if a dress did arrive and they do need a tweak, you can do that. It's not like you've just bought it from a shop and then you've been sent home with it. That's the end.
Yeah, definitely. And we also I would rather lose a sale giving them the right advice than get a sale lying, because we've had to help so many people out. People have said, "Oh, that will fit. Just put some bust cups in it." It's like, it won't. It will never fit. You should never do that. So I do think it is important to kind of have that expertise as well. And so, as I say, I'm sure I told you, and maybe I haven't probably said it on the podcast. But somebody said to me, I think it was old fashioned what we did. I'm like, well, okay, that's what I am then.
Yeah.
Then I'll be old fashioned.
Yeah, it is. I guess it is old fashioned having dresses made and fitted, but what's wrong with that?
I don't know. I suppose I see a lot of badly fitted things on Instagram just generally, and it's not always a price thing. I see really, really brilliantly fitted, much more reasonable price dresses. And I feel I see shockingly badly fit dresses by quite famous names.
Yeah.
And I just think, if your job is to fit this dress properly so it sort of looks like the picture in your advertising, and you fail to do that, that's a basic breach of your contract. And not just because it looks different because it's on a different shape or size woman, but if it's doesn't look right. Anyway, so that customization, there, go.
Yeah, great. Amazing. Go read it on the website. I think you've pretty much said it all, but there are the bits on there.
I know, but the thing is, you don't necessarily, you might want to just refer to it, basically, but I just think it's important to understand the difference between made to order, just simply switching a bodice and skirt, but also the customization of doing that within understanding the size, the cut, the fit, the provenance, why you can do it, and also the fact that you could have that done quite quickly because it's not subject to the incredible mechanization of some of the behemoth factories that make a lot of dresses. So
this is what annoys me when we don't get tagged in bride photos by photographers and things, and the designer does. It's just you're not just going into the shop, buying the dress and taking it home with Miss Bush. It's such an important part of it, and then we don't get mentioned.
I think quite a lot of people have tagged us quite recently, though. I've can't quite keep up with the amount of things that people have tagged us in over the weekend. Actually, there was quite a lot, and I was
just thinking of a specific one that didn't tag us recently. That was quite annoying.
Yeah, that was quite annoying.
Yeah, but we do generally get tagged, but sometimes it's just when they'll just put boutique Miss Bush. It's just I don't know. I feel we need more credit than we
honestly,
get.
Can I just say, the media just have their favourite boutiques. I mean, I think people do don't dislike us. Do you know what I mean? But hello, I'm looking at you, the Fulbright, the Own Studio, or bloody Browns. Do you know what I mean? Someone like that. I feel like if a photographer gets a dress from one of those, they're more interested in tagging the boutique than the brand.
Yeah,
there's an innate kind of have you been on the lane? Have you been on the wed? Do you have an entirely sort of beigey black cream filter over your entire photos, and do you have wafty white curtains in your shop? Then we'll mention you. Do you know what I mean? It's it's kind of a sort of uniform look.
Yeah,
and I think people quite like it. It's fair enough. But it's, one of those things, if we went hard on a trend like that, we'd look like wankers. Because basically, that's not us. Do you know what I mean?
No.
We have and to survive for nearly 40 years, which nobody else hardly ever has in our industry, that is, what are we coming up to in January? It's 37, 38 years.
Yeah. I think
so. Like
38.
you can't do that, but to predate the bloody internet and to still be here and still be relevant in some way. I mean, literally,
That's great. Yeah.
it is good. I mean, I feel flipping exhausted by it, but what I'm saying is, it's like in a now we know, like, a tag frenzy is all well and good, but now we know you're posting it. Like, I mean, that girl Poppy that we did a wedding dress for, we haven't featured her wedding still. She got 1 million views on her brother crying as she walked down the aisle. We haven't even featured the dress. It's a lovely dress. There's lots of people that we get that, even someone on Saturday said that they'd just taken themselves off Instagram and they couldn't cope. So, the tagging game is like, if you want to be this year's flavour, that's great. If you want to be the flavour in 30 years, as the bridal industry contracts and dies, which it's planning to do, it's like a star. It's burnt brightly for a while, but by, in about 25 years, it's going to all be gone, basically. So you should enjoy it now, I suppose.
Yes. Okay.
You wouldn't think the same. You wouldn't be like, oh, it's a shame that we have cholera's gone. Do you know what I mean? There are things that, evolution, you can't get into the kind of like be looking down the precipice of the new AI world and think things are going to stay the same. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's very, very different to see how that would have been. I mean, I still remember my next door neighbour punching his son because, like, he got, like, his girlfriend pregnant and they were shipped off to Australia before they could bring shame on the family. Do you know what I mean? Like, the cultural changes that have happened.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe if the far right get in, we'll all be forced into heterosexual marriages, whether we like it or not.
Oh, gosh, this is going down the non-cheerful route again. How does this keep happening?
It's ironic. It's not. I'm not being serious.
No, I know. I know.
We will wake up and we're in Gilead. We'll be fine.
Oh no. Have you watched to the end of The Handmaid's Tale, by the way?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, no, you have to finish it.
Yeah,
oh,
I'm definitely too, like, I'm occupied with Wednesday at the moment. Then what did we watch last night? Oh, The Paper. Have you started watching that? The spin-off from the US Office.
Oh no, I haven't. That sounds good. I watched that. Well, I'm watching Twin Peaks at the moment and Wednesday. So when I finish them, I will get on to The Paper.
Can you say, like, you don't like a dystopian future?
I know.
Come on, you old goth. We could do with a bit of, like,
I know. I'm living Twin Peaks. It's actually the first time I'm watching it.
Oh my God.
It came out
Log Lady and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Fine cup of coffee. I watched it. I think that had a big influence on me in the 80s or something. So
yeah, I love it. Oh, it's getting quite scary now.
Anyway, yeah, I feel like there's a tiny, like, space for a bit of political satire and bridal wear if we need it as well. Do you know what I mean? But you can't say that weddings aren't involved in culture. They're like a central, like, evident, like, representation of culture. Who you marry, who you sleep with, what class you come from, how you do it, where you go, what money you've got. There isn't anything that's more obvious about people's culture or a country's culture than people choosing to get married,
and their weddings,
to whom and how.
Yeah.
So I will continue to be slightly political about it. I didn't even mention Brexit in this as well, which I could have said a lot about that. And I didn't mention about dresses being made in the Ukraine. So, I feel like this is quite good. But customization is the key, though, for me. I love being able to do that. I like to be able to, like, wish fulfillment, delivering what people love, with that kind of comfort of knowing that they are, in the good way, being very supportive of British industry.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, head to the website, go read it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Emma put a lot of work into it.
Oh, I didn't. It's rubbish, actually, compared to what I used to write, which was much more thought-provoking. But, like, I think it's
like something to be proud of, actually writing something, because nobody writes anything anymore.
No.
Like, you wrote it, you didn't get ChatGPT to do it. You did it yourself.
Mostly because I wouldn't know how. And long may that continue. But ChatGPT could go and crawl all over that now and pick up that information.
Yeah, good.
So how else am I supposed to give information to people? Carrier pigeon.
Yes, or just on here as well.
Okay.
Like we're doing.
All right.
Okay, right. On that note, shall we sign off?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, we still haven't got our ending, our goodbye. See you next Tuesday. I think we could use it. I don't think Richard Osman and Marina Hyde are going to hunt us down and tell us not to.
No. Okay, well, I don't know. Well, anyway, we'll be seeing you next Tuesday anyway.
Yeah. See you next week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
You'd like to know, wouldn't you? You'd like to know, wouldn't you?